Welcome to the All Aboard with Visit Mickey podcast.
Hello and welcome to All Aboard with Visit Mickey. This is Tricia and I am welcomed by a special guest today. I have my husband Mark with me.
Hi, I'm Mark.
And we are here to talk about Adventures by Disney river cruising. So, let's see. Where do we go from here? Adventures by Disney is a product that maybe you have not heard of before. So, of course, we have talked about on this podcast, we have talked about Walt Disney World and Disneyland, the two theme parks that Disney has, and of course, we have talked about Disney Cruise Line. And what I like to say when I'm talking to people is theme parks are your entry level with Disney, and then you graduate up to Disney Cruise Line, and then you graduate up again to Adventures by Disney. What do you think?
Absolutely. The level, the experience escalates with each of those levels to just new, wonderful experiences.
Hey, everybody, it's his first podcast, so he's looking at me like, am I saying the right thing? But he is saying the right thing because we didn't even practice anything. We're just getting on here to talk. Okay, so Adventures by Disney. Wow, I need some water. Hang on a second. Okay, I should have had him talk during that. Anyway, so Adventures by Disney is guided tours. So I call them VIP guided tours by Disney. And this is no matter where you want to go, this is Disney's taking you, but don't think characters anymore. There is no Mickey Mouse to be had. We are talking about the service and the quality of Disney. So again, this is upping the game here to the next level. And Mark and I are here kind of specifically to talk about river cruising. So, Mark, do you remember our first river cruise?
I remember river cruises. I don't keep them in order. So I don't remember the first one. I don't remember the first one distinct from the second or the third.
Okay. Well, I think you've only been on two, so
Really? Feels like three.
feels like three? Okay. Anyway, so back in 2018, we did a family river cruise to the Danube River. So this is going to be 4 countries in 8 days with Disney. And Disney partners with Waterway. So this is the ship. The ship is managed and run and managed by Waterway. But then there are 6 Disney adventure guides. It could be 5 or 6 based on the individual sailing, but we had 6 that day. And these 6 guides are Disney people, right? So they are Disney trained, some are Disney cast members, and they are taking care of your every need, right?
Yes.
And what do you think about adventure guides? Like, what do you think they bring to the table?
Well, there's a lot. There's different roles on the team. You have the MC, who is your main contact, your guide to what's happening. Then there's the supporting staff, there's managerial staff. The experience is just wonderful. You get on the boat, you unpack your stuff, and all the experiences come to you on the ship, off the ship, all orchestrated. If it's not your thing, you can go up to the top deck and just watch the world go by. It's a fabulous, fabulous experience.
All right. Well, okay, that was a good thing there. It's a fabulous, fabulous experience. Okay, so back in 18, we took a river cruise with our family, right? So we were 2 adults and 2 children, and our kids were 10 and 12 at the time. And they had the best time, the best time. Now we get there and we knew this was Disney. So we're like, okay, looking at what those Disney elements are. So for one, we stayed at the hotel when you're going to go on really any big trip like this, you should go in the night before, which we did. And we spent the night at the hotel that Disney sets you up with. And then they are there first thing in the morning to kind of check you in, make sure that you have all those details done, get you on the right bus that heads you over to the ship. There's someone there to be like, okay, all your bags have been grabbed for you, and you will find them in your room within an hour or so. They give you your room number so you can go down and drop your stuff and then go into the lounge. So that's pretty much what everybody was doing that first day, is kind of getting to know each other and meeting each other's families. And we were looking for other families that had kiddos our ages, and we found that, right? We found someone with a boy and a girl close to our kids' ages, and we kind of sat with them and talked with them and had meals with them, and our kids played together. So that worked out perfectly for us. And then, of course, the adults can have the little adult time while the kiddos are doing the kiddo things. Now, one element that made Disney be the only choice for leaving the country with our family was we have a special needs daughter. And at the time, I was like, okay, we have to talk with somebody about the needs of our daughter. So I went up to Paula, was her name. She was one of the guides, one of the 6 guides. And I was like, hey, I want to talk about my daughter. So she has some special needs, and I don't know who to address those to. And if you could have seen the way she reacted, it was like she's clapping her hands. Okay, you, guide, over here. We have a parent that we need to talk to. She gets all 6 guides to come and sit and listen to me. Now, I only take maybe 5 minutes of their time, right? They have other people to take care of. But I had their undivided attention for 5-ish minutes, right? Here are my daughter's issues. Here is where she needs help. Here's to get around some of the problems that might come. And not only did they listen and they acted on things immediately, but they also never had to be told again. They never once had to be told, I think I talked to you about my daughter about this. I think I kind of said, no. They acted and they managed the situation beautifully, right?
Yep.
We were in awe. And then I was like, wow, this is what you want. This is what you want with Disney. And then having this experience. Now, Mark did say it earlier that the beauty of a river cruise is that you unpack once. So river cruises, I just want to say, I don't know if you're familiar with a river cruise ship, but they are small. The max capacity of this ship was 160 or 170 people, and for the whole ship plus the crew. So the guest count being 160 to 70, and then the crew on top of that, and them taking care of you. So it is a small ship, and a room only fits 2 people. So we had to have 2 rooms. We had 2 rooms right next to each other, and we unpacked and then went about meeting people, right? Like I said earlier. And then they gather you on that first day and kind of go over everything. One thing about river cruising that we really liked is they give you an itinerary for the day. And most times with river cruising, you get a morning itinerary and an afternoon itinerary, and you choose what you want to do. So if you choose the morning walking tour and then something different in the afternoon, you could go to a brewery. You could, I mean, like whatever is in that particular city is what you do. But they give you option A or B in the morning and option A or B in the afternoon. So you're really making this trip what you want it to be. And there's always on your own time, which Mark alluded to. If you don't want to do any of the things they're doing, you could say, I'm going to hang on the ship, or I'm just going to walk around. I'm going to leave the ship and walk around the local, the local city we're in. There's always an all aboard time, so you know what time to be back on the ship. But you have that availability to kind of make this vacation your own. I believe you are paying for all the excursions, so you might as well take them all, right? Because you are paying for it, whether you say, I'm going to just sit on the top deck the entire week and do nothing. Well, you didn't really pay for that. So in my world, yes, you can do that, but you did pay for them. Now, what makes Disney, or what's one of the things that make Disney different than the other brands that you may have heard of before? You've heard of, say, Viking River Cruise because it's the most popular, the most well-known. They probably have the most ships. They've definitely been doing it the longest. So Viking River Cruises in Europe are going to be super popular. Why would you take an Adventures by Disney with Emma Waterway, partnered with Emma Waterway, over a Viking? Well, there are multiple reasons. And one is Adventures by Disney is built for families, with families in mind. Viking is built for, I want to say 50 and up. It's really probably more like 57 and up, but I think they're trying to bring that age down. They're trying to get 40s and 50-year-old people to take Viking River cruises, but they're working at it. They're definitely not scheduled for children, right? So why you're going to take an Adventures by Disney? Families. They have families in mind. Also, when you take a Viking, you get one excursion a day included in your fare. When you take an Adventure by Disney, everything's included. So your floating hotel, your ship, is part of your price. All of your food is part of your price. All of the excursions are a part of that price. Your gratuities are included. You're, of course, welcome to give more if you got exceptional service with somebody, but your gratuities are included. And alcohol is included with your meals. So if you want a mimosa champagne for breakfast, included. If you want wine or beer with lunch and dinner, included. They also have a happy hour every day, but they have 2 drinks of the day. They're included. So can you spend money on alcohol? Absolutely. You could order something not included, but there's a lot included that you could just say, I'm going to just go with the stuff that's included in the package. Okay. So it's actually, there's more included than there is an ocean ship, more than the Disney Cruise Line ships. There's actually more included with Adventures by Disney. Right.
I don't think I know I could have got a mimosa with breakfast every morning. We got to go again.
How about that? I got you. Not only will I book the next one, I'll actually go get you your mimosa every morning just so we could take another river cruise. That sounds like a deal to me. Everybody, you heard it. You heard it. He said it. We could take another one because he wants mimosas. So you are all my witness that Mark said it. We can take another one because he wants a mimosa. So, I mean, I'm that kind of wife that I will do that for him. I will go, I'll even fetch his plate, his steak and eggs, whatever. By the way, let's talk about that for just a moment. The breakfast buffet. Wow. Every day, it's first the bread. Fresh bread of Europe. Oh, every morning. That was what I did first, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every day, it was like, get up and go right to the bread station and slice some fresh bread, toast some fresh bread, crunchy with the good butter. Oh my gosh, it was so good. And then they have an omelet station. So I got my omelet every day. But you could do steak and eggs. You could order eggs Benedict. There were lots that you could order off the menu. But I ate food around the buffet and my omelet every day and my amazing coffee. Because remember how good the coffee is?
Really good.
The coffee's so good. So, by the way, I know that we're acting like we remember what coffee and food tastes like in 2018, but we also did one in 2025. So I think that,
Coffee is just as good.
yeah, what we're talking about right now is probably our most recent one. So we did the Danube back in 18. Now, I went back and did the Danube again with friends in 19. So I did back to back 2018, 2019, the Danube River Cruise. So remember what I said to you was that there is like a morning activity and then an afternoon activity, or there's an A, B for each, like morning, A and B, and then afternoon A and B. So what I tried to do from time 1 to time 2 was the alternate, right? So instead of going to Milk Abbey to then maybe doing the brewery tour, there was a vineyard thing one night, but the first time I did something different because the first time I was with my family, with the children, and the second time I did adults. So only the second time did I go to the vineyard. So that does give you the option to do, when you do the same tour, you could still make it different.
You did the apricot farm twice then.
I did do the apricot farm twice. Why? Because it was amazing. So, hot tip, if you're going to do the Danube River cruise, I am going to highly, highly, highly recommend that you go to the apricot farm. When we met with our adventure guides, there were some things that you're like, I don't know, what is this? And they're like, do the apricot farm. Trust us, do the apricot farm. Once we fill up a bus, that's it. So the 45 people get to do it. And we're like, okay, put us in for the apricot farm. Absolutely. The second time, I'm like, I want the apricot farm. Okay. So the apricot farm, first of all, it's just the food, the flavor. Yes, you learn about the family. Yes, you learn about how they distill apricot and how they make this out of it and how they make that out of it. But if you would have asked me before I went there if I like apricots, I'd say, no, that's okay. No, they're fine. No, it's okay. I could skip it. Not these apricots. First of all, they're not the size of a large quarter. They're the size of they're like almost a small peach or a small nectarine, right?
So if you have a smallish fist, it's the size of that.
Yeah. It's like and juicy and wonderful. And we were like, wait a minute. Well, I was like, because I think you would have said I like apricot, right? And I would have said, I could skip it. No, you did not skip this apricot. You didn't skip the nectar, which is still one of the best tasting things on the planet. Apricot nectar from this farm. It's all about food. But, okay. So, should we tell a funny story?
Sure.
Okay. All right, everybody. Story time. So, this is in Austria, and we go to the apricot farm, and we walk up, and they hand you a champagne glass with apricot nectar. And it's like the taste of the gods. Like, I hate to sound like that might sound bad, but it's that amazing. You put this to your lips and you're like, I need 5 more glasses of this, because they give you a champagne toasting glass of it. And you're like, that's not enough. Right?
Yeah.
Right. Give me, where's more? So it's one of those, you let other people off the bus and then you wait until there's more left on the tray than the number of people on the bus, and then you go get more, which is exactly what I did. Okay. And then we go and we do, we go into the farm and we clipped apricots and we learned about the trees. I mean, we did all the adventure part stuff, which is it is fun and educational at the same time. Then they take us back in and we're going to learn about the distillery. They're going to give us schnapps. And so there's schnapps, there's bread, there's truffle, chocolate, and then we're going to eat apricot dumpling. See, it just all floods right back to you. Anyway, so we're there and we're talking to one of our adventure guides, and his name is Danny, adventure guide Danny. And my daughter walks up with a glass that the schnapps was served in. And we look at each other and the guide looks at us, and all 3 adults are just staring at each other, and our daughter's 12. And we went, did you just drink this? And she saw our faces and went, no. And the guide was like terrified. Oh. He's like, bread, chocolate. getting her bread and chocolate and getting her just water to drink and juice and stuff. And we're like, it's fine, it's fine. But it was like, if you could have seen all of our faces, because she went and found a glass of schnapps. So that was a bit of a funny thing. Anyway, so moving on, you get to do events, and the adventure guides are recommending things for you. They're taking you through things. Did you see that? The light changed. Weird. Sorry, guys. If you're on YouTube, our lights just dimmed, oddly. Anyway, and also you can find us on YouTube and All Aboard with Visit Mickey. Anyway, so the guides are there and they are guiding you, right? They're making recommendations for you. They're helping you really along the way, something that they think is best for your family. If you say, I don't know if I should do this, they'll help guide you. But one of the reasons we picked the Danube River Cruise is for the Salzburg Day, right?
Mm-hmm.
What does the Salzburg Day mean?
Was that the cooking?
No,
Oh.
cooking.
Yeah. We
Oh, you're talking about the pig?
yeah.
No.
Okay.
Okay. All right, everybody. For the rest of you, the Salzburg Day. Now, if you are above 50 years old, you might remember, see, he just realized it because he's above 50 years old. You might remember that once a year there were events. And one of the events was The Wizard of Oz. Another event was Sound of Music. And another event were the 10 Commandments. It was once a year on regular TV. There was no streaming. You couldn't go watch whatever you wanted, whenever you wanted. But Sound of Music was once a year on Channel 5 at 8 o'clock until 11 because it's a long movie and lots of commercials. But we did it every year, The Sound of Music. We watched Wizard of Oz every year on the day it was going to be on. So I grew up like that. I grew up watching The Sound of Music once a year. And this is our Sound of Music Day. So why we picked the Danube was because we were going to have a Sound of Music Day, the extravaganza. We were going to do it all. So you start your day in the morning. We take a bus drive over to Montsey, which is where Maria from the movie marries Captain Von Trapp in the church, and then they have to go hide and all that, right? So they take us there. They take us to the little village. They take us to the church. You have time to get pictures outside of it, pictures inside of it, buy a few things, and then it's just an adorable town. You get some time on your own for shopping, exploring, buying bakery, whatever is you, you know? And then they took us to this big grassy hill area where we get to like spin around in a circle and do like the hills are alive moment. So that was another, I mean, it's like we were really living our Sound of Music fantasies. And then we all go to Maribel Gardens. And in Maribel Gardens, they're helping recreate, right, for families. They're helping recreate the Do Re Mi thing. We're helping doing the march around the horse fountain and all the things. Oh, there's the covered archway, like the natural archway where people would run down it and the kids were racing in the movie. And they were helping us all recreate that, right? Like for our own camera, for our own video, for our own still pictures. Each family did it, then we had it by a group. And this is the Adventure by Disney difference. So is Viking going to do that? No, Viking is going to drop you off and say, be back in 90 minutes at the bus stop so we can get you back to the ship. But with Disney, they are creating moments, right?
Yeah.
All right. Do you have a moment that you remember now? I know we're only on the Danube, and that was a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
So even though it comes right back to my head, that's just who I am. But now we're going to skip ahead, right? So we do all the adventure on the Danube River. We have the best time. We are Budapest. Oh, by the way, Budapest. 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 Now, I know this is the movie Black Widow. I would like to make it clear. They made it very clear on this adventure that it is Budapest. Buda was a city. Pest was a city, separated by a river. Bridges are built. City combines. Budapest. Okay, so that's where we start off our adventure in Budapest. We move on to Bratislava, Slovakia. Oh, so beautiful, so beautiful. We absolutely loved every moment there. It was short. That was a short visit. Move on to Vienna. Actually, move on to 3 different stops in Austria and finish up in Germany with a huge Oktoberfest party. So that's, in a nutshell, the Danube River. There is amazing food along the way, such fun entertainment, Sound of Music. If you're a Sound of Music buff, you can do other things. They have salt mines that you can do. There's Milk Abbey. There's lots of, I think I'll call out one more difference of, say, non-Adventure by Disney and Adventure by Disney. So when we go to the Benedictine Abbey, Milk Abbey, Benedictine Abbey, when we arrive, there are probably 6 to 8 buses. And I went, oh, well, this is not exclusive. Adventures by Disney is not exclusive here. All the ships are here. All the ships are represented here. So I thought to myself, I wonder how Disney's going to make this special because we're all here. Viking's here, Avalon is here. We're all here. How are we going to be special here with Adventures by Disney? Well, do you remember this?
Yeah.
Okay, so there are flags, right? So the leader of each group has a flag. You just follow the leader, right? Who is the first company to go into Milk Abbey, Mark? Adventures by Disney. That's right. And here's the next level, right? So not only are we the first ones in, we are taken by a curator. A curator takes us in small groups to each room and describes the room, tells us backstory, history, all that other stuff. Do you remember what happened with the other companies?
I believe they were headphones and recordings and no guidance, just automated, recorded.
That is correct. So they get what's called an audio box in their ear, right? So they put a little recording in their ear and they go to room 1. And then you listen to recording, you look at things, and then it'll beep until you move to room 2 now. And then you just move forward the recording and then go to room 2 and listen to the recording. We didn't have that. We had a curator and they were taking us through. We could ask questions. They could answer the questions. And then what are the adventure guides doing this time? They are blocking people from coming into our room. And I heard one of them say, I'm sorry, this is a private tour. You cannot come in until we leave the room. And then, you'll be welcome to come through this room. So this is the Adventure by Disney difference. So one of many things that I witnessed that week, the things that they did for my daughter, the things that they did for both my daughters to make their trip, their 10-year-old and 12-year-old trip, a good trip, and to deal with the little things that happen, right? We went to a place called Devon Castle, which is not on the trip anymore. But that was a very fun thing. I wish they could have managed to keep that. But what they did replace it with was, I went the year later and the replacement was already there. So they've come up with great programming for that trip. And I would do the Danube again because there are things I just loved about it that I would love to even see again. And I wouldn't mind some more fresh apricot and nectar. And fudge, not fudge. Yeah, fudge.
Yeah.
Remember the apricot
Apricot
fudge?
fun.
Dark chocolate apricot truffles. So good. So now we're going to skip ahead a couple years. Rhine River Cruise. So the Rhine River Cruise also goes to 4 countries in 8 days, but they are different countries. You are starting out in Switzerland and you are finishing in Amsterdam and a couple stops in France. It was a wonderful trip. And when you do the Danube, you have a family trip and then you have an adult exclusive Oktoberfest trip. And with the Rhine, you have a regular family trip, and then you have a food and wine exclusive adult trip. Now, the adult trips are in the fall, both of them are in the fall, and then they both offer a Christmas market cruise as well. So you can take a river cruise basically from, I think, late May is the first one, maybe even early June through September, October-ish. And then there's the break, and then they have the Christmas market. And that is the Danube and the Rhine. Now, for our 20th wedding anniversary, we did the Holland and Belgium Tulip Season River Cruise. So this cruise also offers two different kinds. So you can do the Holland Belgium summer trip, and only 1 week of the year they have the tulip season one. So just this last year in 2025, we did the tulip season. Mark, what would you like to share about the tulip season?
It's hard to pick a favorite event from that trip. I think the farm, being on the tulip farm, walking through the tulip fields, getting some history on the
How to plant.
how they plant and how they harvest, what they do with tulips, cut them off, throw them away because they're growing bulbs. But we were allowed, one of the things you're not allowed to do in Holland is walk through the tulip fields because it's a risk of contaminating the tulips and killing the harvest. But this tulips farm sole function is to let you walk through the tulip fields, and we were able to walk through and pick tulips and create bouquets and bring them back to the ship, and that was probably my peak.
Okay, so, all right, so why did we take this trip? Our 20th wedding anniversary, and we were going to take the Italy Adventures by Disney. And we had been talking about the Italy Adventure by Disney for, I don't know, 10 years. 10 years. We are doing Italy for our 20th anniversary. Now, my favorite flower is the tulip. And I was waiting for the season in which we would do Italy. I was waiting for the land packages to open so that I could book Italy for our 20th anniversary. And what happens before lands reservations is ship reservations. And so Disney makes this announcement, new 2025, we're going to the Netherlands to a Holland and Belgium river cruise. We're doing it for tulip season. And I went, Mark, I know you think we're going to Italy for our 20th anniversary, but you know how I feel about tulips. And in 1998, I had met a friend who came back from his honeymoon during the Tulip Festival. And I saw the pictures back in 1998 and put on my bucket list to go to Holland for the Tulip Festival. Well, it finally happened in 2025. So for our anniversary, that's what we chose to do. So we took, again, this is now my 4th Adventure by Disney River Cruise. This one is to Holland and Belgium. And the Holland is actually, it's not considered the country is the Netherlands, but that's actually how Disney writes it in their description, is Holland and Belgium. And we did the tulip season one. So we start and end in Amsterdam. Get a day before, stay at the hotel that Disney picks. So again, they pick you up, they take you right to your ship. It's really super simple when you do everything right through Disney. And we get aboard and we have friends. We have guides that we've had before. It was so great to be like hugging our friends that, have been there for years now and guided us multiple times. So that, of course, is really heartwarming in a way. And then, yes, so when you come to the tulip aspect of it all, it's like a growing, what do you want to call it, the crescendo of tulips. So you start off at the farm that Mark described. So this is a family farm, and they have tulip fields that no one's allowed to walk in. But then they also specifically had fields that were available for guests to come, walk among, and pick their own and take them home. So it was all part of the experience. And yes, we learned how they grew tulips, how they, I think if you've seen a lot of the things where they just cut off the heads of them and let them go back because they're actually really growing a bulb so that they can grow it enough that they can ship them and sell them and ship them. So we arrive and we went to, they have an outdoor market in Amsterdam, and we found we took a Uber to the outdoor market, and we came back to the ship with 50 tulips. So, and we just walked around this flower market, and I'm like, oh, let's go to the flower market. That sounds amazing. So I get to the ship with 50 tulips, and I find someone who helps me get a jar, and there's tulips everywhere, all over the ship. So I am a happy girl. And then on the first full day out, we go to this family tulip farm. We're allowed to pick 20 more, 10 each. So now our room, we have just the largest pile of tulips. It was so wonderful. And the tulips opened slowly throughout the week. And it was just such a joy. Anyway, so that's the first day's experience. And then we have, other things that we do throughout the day. We end up in Belgium. And in Belgium, that's where you could go to one of two places. You could go to Ghent, and you could do the walking chocolate pastry tour. So there was like chocolate pastries and beer, right? That was one of the things that you could do in Ghent. Or you could go to Bruges and have a full day in Bruges. Now, that was what we did. We had learned about the Bruges Madonna, the Madonna and Child that was done by Michelangelo, and that it's actually in a church today, still in Bruges. So I'm like, I'm never going to get a chance to get this close to one of his sculptures. So I say we go to Bruges. So we do, and we spend the day there, and I buy lace because with Adventures by Disney, they give you a booklet of what is the thing to get in each city? Like, what is the popular thing, the thing that's an area is known for? And handmade lace is the thing that's known for Bruges. Also, waffles, right? So the Liège waffles. So we looked at a lot of the waffle stands, and we picked the one that we were very happy with. So a Liège waffle is a yeast-raised waffle, and it is cooked at a super, super high temperature, and it's got sugar right in the dough so that when they cook it, it actually forms like a caramelized sugar crust. So it really crunches when you bite into it. And you should see Brooke's face. It's so funny. He's like reliving the flavor. So I got a Liège waffle with fresh whipped cream and strawberries and drizzled in chocolate. And you got fresh whipped cream and cherries. Did you get chocolate?
Yeah,
or chocolate shavings?
Chocolate shavings.
Shavings, chocolate shavings on yours.
Whipped cream.
And the whipped cream.
Mm.
And so then you just like ready to eat it on the street. We got a coffee. It was so good. And then we went and saw the Michelangelo Madonna and Child and explored that church. And then they offer canal rides so that you could see the city from the lower level in the canal. And Bruges' like kind of center is a UNESCO heritage site. So then they're explaining about what the area is, how it came to be, how they protect it, how they do not let new architecture resemble. I mean, they have to build in an old style if they're going to build anything new. So just to keep that UNESCO heritage site standing. So that was probably my favorite day that wasn't tulip related, right? I mean, the tulips were amazing.
Yeah.
So then we go to another tulip event, and that is at the house of like a lord, right? So we go to this home that, was owned by royalty, and now it's like a park that you pay to get into. Again, Disney does all this for you. We didn't have to think of anything. We didn't have to plan anything. We didn't have to buy tickets to get into anything. They do it all for you. You just read the itinerary, pay for it, and now they take care of every detail for you. We just got on the right bus. We ended up at the tulip field. So at this house, there's a million tulips planted. So we walk around and we take pictures and we see tulips we've never seen before. And it's just another beautiful place, right? Another gorgeous place. And then we have another day or so, and then we finish the trip at Kuchenhof. And Kuchenhof is a big flower exposition, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, 7 million tulips. 7 million. So they have to plan so far in advance. Every year they have this Kuchenhof, right? And so they have to plan and plant everything and in the different areas. And then we bought tulips at the Kuchenhof to go home. You cannot bring tulips back. If you do, they have to have the United States sticker on them. So you could accidentally buy tulips that you are not allowed to take back. So A, make sure your sticker is on there if you have it. B, do not buy them to bring home unless it's fall because they will not live. If you buy them in the spring, it's kind of setting you up for failure. But if you buy them at Kuchenhof, then they are shipping them to you in October. And then you plant them and then you get to enjoy them in the spring, right? So we got them in October. We have planted. We will now eagerly wait for April and see all the beautiful tulips that we've been planted.
One of the things I remember amazing me about the tulips at Kuchenhof was the variety of sizes, right? There were tulips from like 5 inches to 3 feet and every size in between and every shape and varieties of colors and, doubles and pointed petals and just astonishing variety.
So Lily, remember we were like,
Mhm.
neither of us had ever seen a tulip that looked like a lily and to have the points and stuff. And we were like, wow, what is that? And they're like, oh, that's a lily. I'm sorry, that's a tulip and it's named blah, blah, blah. They're actually, okay, so with Adventures by Disney, they do try to bring little Disney into your trip. Are they bringing Mickey Mouse? No. Are they bringing any other character? No. But they try to educate you about where Disney might be represented. Okay, so on this trail at Kuchenhof, someone created a tulip and it was an orangey colored tulip and it was made to honor Walt Disney. So it is like the Walter E. Disney something flora tulip, which you could not buy, by the way, or I would have some. You couldn't buy that kind. But so that one is exclusive to the Netherlands. They don't let that one out of the area because of, I don't know, probably because of danger of they said it. We're going to get a disease or something. Anyway, it was one of the ones that weren't allowed to come back home. But one of the things I would say about Adventures by Disney is stop thinking Disney characters and start think travel the way Walt did. Once Walt became Walt Disney, he was hoarded, treated. He was, given trips like this, right? Where they're taking us places and they're managing it and all we have to do is show up. And that's kind of how he traveled later in life, right? They're like, oh, we want to do this for you, Walt. Here, we want to show you this. This is what Disney's now doing. You're traveling like Walt instead of going to see Mickey Mouse. That's kind of how I like to talk about it. One of the reasons we're doing this podcast today is to talk about the 2026 and the 27 market. So just today, which is January 13th, the 2027 river cruises went on sale for the next season. And when they do go on sale, they offer them at $500 off per person. Now, just me saying those words means they're expensive. If you're saving $500, then they're an expensive product. But what I will say is when I talk to anybody about Adventures by Disney, now I've been on 9 of them, and I will say that they are on average $1,000 a day per person. That's like a nice, easy way to kind of ballpark how much you're going to pay. Now, river cruises, because you are in the same hotel room, right? You don't, the logistics are easier on them. The river ship goes with you, so they don't have to change. So in a land cruise, in a land trip, you're going to change at least 3 times. So that's logistics of grabbing your luggage, taking it, moving it, taking a bus, all of that. So that's going to increase your price. Also, on the ship, you're eating the food. They don't have to go plan restaurants and catering because all the food is right there on the ship. So river cruises also give you the bang for your buck. So you're looking at $5,800 per person instead of $7,000, and when you're doing the $500 off. So this is the time. If we've talked to you and you've heard things that made you go, ooh, I want to take a river cruise. So the river cruises right now are the Danube and the, the Danube, the Rhine, the Holland Belgium, and the Rhone are the river cruises that are available right now. And I've only taken 3 of the 4 of them. Now, last year, I did do Provence and Lyon. So I did get to do some things in those areas. And wow, is it beautiful? I definitely would put it on my list. You are going to the aqueduct, the Roman aqueduct on that trip. You can kayak underneath it, or you can climb up to the top of it. Again, that's something that's so exclusive to Adventures by Disney because you are not allowed to be on top of it in a normal situation. So I don't know how Adventure by Disney got that, but it's right there in the description. So if any of this sounds like, oh, wow, I have to try this. I have to listen and go, Tricia, hook me up. How do I get an Adventure by Disney river cruise? You just reach out to us. You can find us at Visit Mickey. I am Tricia, Tricia at visitmickey.com. If you find us on YouTube, you can always put a comment underneath this podcast. But just go to Visit Mickey anywhere, at Visit Mickey, and you're going to be able to DM me and then visitmickey.com. I mean, any of that's going to find me. But I'm telling you, the river cruises are so special. We did not discuss land trips. We did not discuss escapes. Hey, what's that castle in Germany? Oh, gosh, I have to look at it to say it right.
I am going to disappoint you.
Oh, yeah, me too. Starts with an N.
You're for sure.
See how bad we are. I should know how to say this, and I can only say it when I'm looking at the word, which I don't have in front of me. Anyway, so they offer a new Munich short escape that goes to the Danube, and the highlight of it is you go to the Disney castle, right? The one that the Cinderella's castle is themed after. And actually, even Sleeping Beauty's castle from the side, it looks like it. So they've added that to the Danube, and you can add it on to any of them, the Oktoberfest, the summer trips, or the Christmas market. For me, I think the Danube Christmas market is nicer than the Rhine River Cruise Christmas market, but I'm sure they're both amazing. We just can't say enough about them. I have done land trips, I have done short escapes, and I've done 4 river cruises. And even though I really look forward to a day, hopefully, that the New York City short escape comes back, the thing that I like the most about, well, I guess one, I'm in Europe when I'm on a river cruise, and I love being in Europe, but I like unpacking ones. It's just, for me, it's an element of the trip that I don't feel like I'm living out of a suitcase. I put stuff in drawers, I put stuff in closets, and I feel like I'm more on vacation than when I have to move hotels every 3 days. So for me, it's a river cruise is the number one trip for me. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed our little story about Adventures by Disney and about river cruising. And I hope that, you keep listening to All Aboard with Visit Mickey, because we are really having a blast talking with everybody. It's always great to have people join me, because it's really hard to do a podcast just with yourself talking. It's nice to bounce off other people. So I hope you keep listening, and when you're ready to take a trip, I hope you reach out to me. I am Tricia at Visit Mickey. This is All Aboard with Visit Mickey, and we will see you real soon.